Hello everyone, Min here, bringing you a Brawlhalla informational video. And this is probably a new thing that we're doing from now on, whenever there's a relevant balance patch going on. It's just basically me analyzing what I feel is going to be different or impactful about the balance changes and the patches in Brawlhalla. So let's get started with December 4th, 2024, Star Wars Event 2. So there's new crossovers, of course. Let's see. Han Solo, Chewbacca, KVS, and the Mandalorian. New weapon skin. I've actually seen that skin in action, the weapon skin Darksaber. It sounds pretty cool. It's different than a lightsaber, and surprisingly less annoying to even listen to, so that's cool. I mean, all of these crossovers are pretty interesting, but we'll probably deal with those later. We're going to the most important part, which is the balance. So, first up, we got Axe. So, Axe Ground Pound Collision has slightly more threat coverage to prevent certain cases where the target could be dropped before the final hit. Axe Ground Pound slightly increased threat coverage near the user when colliding with the ground. So, we've got an Axe buff this time. It's not a nerf, so that's kind of sad to hear for me. I still think Axe is really good, and Axe Ground Pound in particular has always been a good move because it's kind of like recovery. You kind of just do it and then it just hits unexpectedly. But now it just guarantees that it'll always hit more often. So I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, Axe players probably like that because Axe Ground Pound is probably less overwhelming compared to recovery, so they probably like the Ground Pound buff. But since I don't like fighting Axe and I'm not too much of an Axe main unless I feel like playing Ogrim and Bryn, then I'd say, yeah, it's alright. So not too big of a deal there. Ground Pound's not a commonly used move in neutral, but it still has its uses for like dodge reads close to the ground rather than dodging up, so there's that. Battle Boots. Battle Boots damage output on its farthest reading starters, the side light and down light has been decreased to be closer in line with other string style weapons. Some of this power has been shifted into less recover time on miss. Okay, for the down light, that's big. Battle Boots side light decreased damage from 14 to 13. I mean, you're basically making the weaknesses of Battle Boots more glaring because Battle Boots already does probably the least amount of damage in the game besides like Katars. Katars is the only weapon that probably does less damage than Boots. Battle Boots downlight decreased damage from 7 to 6. That's not too big, but the decreased total recover time on miss from 16 fixed 15 variable to 14 fixed 15 variable. Removing that 2 frames off of the end leg on miss for that downlight is pretty big though, because now it makes that move more similar to like Sword D Light, where if you miss it, you can just punish with a neutral light much more easily. So they just nerfed the damage, but they buffed the punishability. So basically, it's like you lose a little bit, but you gain way more from this Battle Boots change. So that's pretty scary. I don't know. I don't play Boots often, but fighting against Boots, I can imagine it would be rather tough to punish someone who misses a downlight a little bit more now. Blasters. The Blaster's aerial kit now has greater reward with better string potential from the neutral air and greater knockout potential from the recovery attack. So Blaster's neutral air increased stun of the second blast from 20 to 22. Okay, that may be relevant for juggling, especially since it decreased cooldown time on hit from 9 to 8. That's not too big, but the stun helps it too. So now you're probably going to get consecutive nairs more often on blasters, which I wholeheartedly accept. I mean, nair doesn't kill. It kills like at close to black health, so that's fine. Blaster's recovery changed force from 50 fixed, 41 variable to 48 fixed, 44 variable. Okay, so the fixed force is lower, but the variable force is higher. The variable matters more when you're getting the kill, but the fixed force being lower just basically makes it harder to get like a early ceiling gimp, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of balanced, I guess. But basically, they just reverted the force nerf from last time, so we got Blaster's recovery at a decent kill potential again. So that's good for Blasters. I'm not complaining. Vrax and Ada for me are going to be eating well, I suppose. Okay, bow. The damage of the bow and neutral light and downlight have been decreased to better fit their overall speed and priority. Bow neutral light decreased damage from 15 to 14. Bow down air decreased damage from 18 to 17. I mean, decreasing the damage, I'd say, is a fair nerf. Everything good about the weapon is still there. There's like no frame data changes, so it's still hard to punish bow, but at the same time, their damage has been brought in line to like boots, because boots and bow are kind of similar to where they're fast and hard to punish. So I think bow losing some damage here and there is pretty fair. And you're not taking away from the strengths or the weaknesses of bow really, because the force is still the same, so you still kill at around the same time. You just deal a little bit less damage. But as long as you're playing well, it's not too much of a difference. So that's a fair nerf for bow. It's semi placebo because you're not changing any frame data, but I'd say it's fine for people who main bow, and people who fight bow aren't as punished as heavily for getting hit. So I suppose it's fine. I'm cool with that. Cannon. The cannon downlight's damage has been slightly decreased for less combo damage. We have also decreased the threat coverage of the down air for better opportunities to contest this attack. Okay, I might have an issue with this. Cannon downlight decreased damage from 14 to 13. That's not so bad, it's just 1 damage. And cannon downlight into the nair already does close to 30 damage, so that's perfectly fine. I'm fine with that. Cannon down air. Decreased threat coverage at the extreme edges during the start of the blast. Decreased threat coverage near the user and at the front edge during the end. Okay, this is the issue here. Cannon down air, losing the better hitboxes for down air kind of stinks, because that's like one of your best approach options. So losing that extra utility of the hitboxes reaching in certain areas can be detrimental for people playing cannon. I do dabble in cannon sometimes, but seeing this nerf makes me want to shy away from the weapon even more now. So that kind of stinks. Okay, moving on. Gauntlets. The Gauntlet side air now has less priority and greater recovery time on miss. Allowing much greater opportunities to either contest this attack as it approaches or punish it on miss. Okay, Gauntlet side air. Decrease maximum horizontal threat coverage. That's pretty good, because now other side airs can contest with this much better, so I'm perfectly chill with this. Hurtbox moves slightly forward during the attack. Good. Easier to contest. Increased total recovery time on miss from 7 fixed, 21 variable to 9 fixed, 21 variable. Okay, now this might be big, because if I can see this correctly, increased total recovery time on miss. If you're using Sayer to get back to stage, aren't you technically missing because you're not hitting anyone? So does that mean Gauntlets is now not as reliable for using Sayer to get back to stage and just live longer? Because if that's true, this might be a pretty harsh nerf for Gauntlets, especially on like the lower Dex characters like Petra and Onyx. So that's pretty interesting. I want to see how that goes. Okay, great sword. Whoa, we got a ton of balance changes in this patch. Holy, my upcoming tier list for Winter Champs is probably gonna be shaken up a bit. We have brought the Great Sword and Neutral Air's knockout potential closer in line with other similar attacks. Great Sword Neutral Air decreased force from 50 fixed, 42 variable, to 48 fixed, 39 variable. Okay, that's pretty big. Three force. I mean, it killed pretty decently. Not as good as Cannonair, but just a little bit behind Cannonair, I felt, from the previous patch. So now, is it basically bringing it closer in line to basically like Swordnair and kill potential then? I'm really curious, but Greatsword has good aerial, so this nerf, it just punishes, it just lowers the reward for Greatsword, but it doesn't punish the frame data, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Good, good. Hammer. The Hammer Neutral Light now does slightly greater damage to better fit its relatively small threat coverage and total commitment. I like that wording. Okay. Hammer Neutral Light. Increased damage from 17 to 18. I mean, it's just 1 damage, but I'm not complaining. Perfectly fine. Like, Hammer Neutral Light, it has pretty solid active frames, so you're kind of committing. But it's a reliable attack that doesn't have string potential past orange, because you're not going to land neutral light side light after orange. So I'm fine with this. That's cool. Katars. The Katar's ground pound now has greater force to provide more appropriate reward for this committal attack. Katar's ground pound. Increased force from 48 fixed, 35 variable, to 48 fixed, 37 variable. I mean, that's a pretty fair buff in my opinion. Katar's ground pound is probably one of the riskiest ground pounds in the game, similar to Lance, where you just spike down super hard, and then if you miss, then you're probably close to the kill box. Like, if I was playing on, like, Brawlhalla, small terminus, I might die from missing a Katar or Lance ground pound. So giving it more reward for the risk, perfectly good buff. That's a good buff. Orb. We have increased the damage of the Orb's recovery attack to be closer in line with other similar recovery attacks. Orb recovery. Increased damage from 17 to 18. I suppose that's fine. I mean, Orb recovery was already a good move. Increasing the damage is just... At least it's not an increase in force, but... I might give Orb a shot. That's pretty interesting. I mean, Orb's easy to catch people, especially in the stray frame, so that's pretty good for Orb players then. Moving on. Oh, Rocket Lance, this is what we came here for. The Rocket Lance Neutral and Light now has greater force to better match its low vertical threat coverage and lack of movement. Rocket Lance Neutral Light changed force from 43 fixed, 40 variable, to 40 fixed, 43 variable. Oh, now this is big. This is big. 43 fixed, they lowered the force of the fixed to 40. So that means you can still string downlight into neutral light pretty reliably at early health. But they increased the variable force from 40 to 43, so it helps with killing. So at the same time, they buffed it so that you can string better early health, and you can use it as a kill option later health. That's insane. And increasing the force by 3 variable, I gotta test that out. I gotta see if it's similar in line to Axis Neutral Light now, because if that's true, that's gonna be insane. So let's boot up Ulgrim real quick. Okay, let's go to Demon Island. That's probably the most balanced map, because it's flat and the kill boxes aren't too close. Okay. Okay. Damage on, all of these on. Axe. We'll start with Axe as the test of the starting point of the test. Okay. Damage reset on, position reset on, set damage. Okay, let's test the kill potential of Axe Neutralite and compare it to the newly buffed Lance Neutralite, guys. Because having this on Lance to be able to kill much quicker is really big. Okay. Okay, we should not be testing on Jiro. You need to get out of here, Jiro. You need to have defense that someone would actually want to play. Like Kaya, 7 defense. There we go. 7 strength, Ulgrim, 7 defense, Kaya. Now this is a reliable test. Okay, kills rather late. Okay, let's see if it kills at 190. Okay, it kills at 200 for Lance Neutralite. I mean, Axe Neutralite, sorry. Axe Neutralite, 200. Let's see what Lance does now that it's buffed. Before, it would definitely not kill at 200. It kills earlier? No way, is that true? It kills at the same damage. It kills at the same damage and time as Axe Neutralite now. That is amazing.
Dominating. Triple knockout.
That is so amazing. You have no idea, man. Now that Axe and Lance kill at the same time for Neutralite at the same damage range, that's a huge buff to Lance, because now you can find a stray Neutralite and it would kill almost as reliably as a Sayer. Like, let's see. I mean, it's 30 damage later than a Sayer. But still, though. Still. Killing at the same time as Axe. That brings Lance much higher on the tier list now, in my opinion. Because they lowered the force for the fix, so that means it's easier to string early damage. But now you can have it as a kill potential. This is amazing for Lance, guys. Okay, for the final test. Let's boot up Brawlhalla real quick. Okay, if Brawlhalla kills later than Neutralite on both Axe and Lance, that would be pretty insane. Brawlhalla's 7 strength, 7 defense Kaya.
Unstoppable.
Oh wow, guys. Axe and Lance kill at the same time and they're earlier than Sword for Neutralite. And now that Lance and Axe are equal, that raises Lance's viability by so much, you can't believe it. Holy crap. That is insane. I like this patch, man. This patch is amazing. Okay, moving on. Scythe. The Scythe neutral layer now has less priority, making it easier to either contest this attack or maneuver around it more consistently. Scythe neutral layer slightly decreased maximum threat coverage. Okay, less priority, so that's only an issue for Scythe mains that rely on Nair. So I guess that also hurts Scythe's viability off stage too. Because like if you're trying to do like the Nair, reverse them backwards away from the stage kind of trick, now dares are going to contest with the Scythe Nair more often, so I'm chill with that. I'm chill with that. Even though I play Scythe, I'm chill with that. I mean, it's only fair. The Spear Neutralite, moving on to Spear, now has greater recovered time on miss and less damage to better match its quick time to hit and sizable reach. Spear Neutralite, increased recovery time on miss from 5 fixed 16 variable to 6 fixed 16 variable. Decreased damage from 15 to 14. I mean, Spear Neutralite is an insane move that out-prioritizes so many things. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's only 1 frame of recovery frames that are added on, so it's not too noticeable. It might be noticeable on Kaya and Nash, but otherwise, probably not too big. Damage decrease, it's 1 damage, it's not too big. So, negligible. Perfectly fine. Sword. The Sword Downlight now has less damage to bring this weapon's total combo damage to a more appropriate range for its versatility. Sword Downlight. Decreased damage from 9 to 7. That's pretty big, 2 damage. Now this is big because Sword is reliably good at killing and building up damage, so having the main combo starter reduced from 2 damage like that, it makes it slightly more longer to kill, and the damage buildup is slightly less overwhelming, so I'm chill with this. Sword has good frame data and good priority, so this is not really that huge of a nerf, considering they did buff the downlight hitboxing last patch. So this is fair. It's fair. I'm fine. I'm fine with this. Okay, this is another big one. Unarmed. The unarmed down air now has less priority, making it easier to either contest this attack or maneuver around it more consistently. Unarmed down air, slightly decreased threat coverage below and in front of the user. So basically this makes it so that unarmed down air is harder to beat out, recoveries coming back to stage and all of that. So this is amazing. Making unarmed not stupidly annoying when you're trying to get back on stage after a weapon throw getting hit on you on top of that. That's pretty good. It makes the off-stage game much more manageable, so I'm all for that. I'm cool with this. This is a good patch, guys. And a lot of people have always been complaining about unarmed air on the Forge Discord, so this is pretty pretty heartwarming for me. Okay, King Zuva's gonna be legal now, guys. So that's pretty epic. King Zuva might see tournament play now. But we'll see if he got nerfed pretty hard. King Zuva's neutral hammer now has greater minimum charge time to widen the dodge window after a downlight. We have also increased the recovery time on miss to grant a wider window to punish this attack. King Zuva's side hammer now has greater time to hit to open a dodge window at low damage ranges and decrease maximum momentum during the attack. We have also adjusted the setup location from reliable use when properly releasing the charge after striking an opponent. Neutral hammer. Increase minimum charge time from 9 to 11. That is amazing. That's basically 2 extra startup frames, so you're not going to be robbed of your stock because of a neutral sig that you can't even see coming and can't react to. So I am all for this. Increase total recovery time on miss from 20 to 25. 5 extra frames of end leg. Perfect, guys. That's his best sig, too, by the way, because you don't have many spiking signatures for the anti-airs besides Yumiko. So that is insane. So now, that's pretty fair now. Because, yeah, that sig was obnoxious when he was unpatched. Side hammer, increased time to hit from 16 to 19. Okay, I think that's increasing active frames if I recall correctly. Yeah. Slightly decreased momentum from movements such as a dash. Okay, so it doesn't reach as far. Setup location of the first hit is now slightly lower. So it's less anti-airy. I'm cool with that. I mean, more active frames, less reach, less hitboxes. I mean, that's fair. His hammer was the best part about him. And now it seems more manageable now. So, yeah, King Zuva probably took a nosedive in playability, but he's actually balanced now rather than having a crazy, insane best hammer in the game kind of feel. I mean, Cassidy might be better than him, but he's definitely tied for first with Cassidy for best hammer. But now that that's going, he's probably second best now. But that's still amazing because of the stats, though. So good patch. Game improvements. Updated UI screen for test feature pop-up. Okay, that doesn't affect gameplay. So who cares? Art and animation. Added a hit react effect to Ada's spear down signature. I don't know how that plays out, but it sounds cool. Adjusted Brawlhalla preview podium to match default. Okay, cool. Improved Darth Maul's knee connections. Okay. Fixed the bugs where the translations were flipped. Okay. Yep. Gameplay. Fixed the case that prevented Isaiah's drone from playing hit sounds. Okay, that might affect something, but not too big. Okay, solid patch, guys. All the changes seem somewhat justified. I don't see any changes where I think makes no sense. All the changes are pretty solid, so one insane patch. And they're going to be adding a skirmish 2 weeks from now, so yeah, not bad. Rebooting Battle Pass Classic 5, the Orion Prime and Artemis Battle Pass. Cool. Companions, I still have yet to test this out. Star Wars is a chill crossover. Solid patch, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you guys next time when we got some epic action going on. See ya.